All right, I wanted to jump on here and do a random live stream because I am doing some studio quantization. And if you don't know what that is, it's possible that you need to do it yourself. I'll explain here in a sec. Let me get a cable here. But the concept is basically getting everything in order. And so one of the things that's on my to-do list today is I wanted to test the latency of the interface that I'm using, which has such low latency that I'm able to use hardware inserts, and Pro Tools is able to compensate for it. Now, if you have tried using hardware inserts and in Pro Tools, and it's not able to do it, and you have to manually do the whole thing, that's because your interface has extremely long latency. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And so I was just curious what it is with mine, and I figured I'd go through and do a test and actually A/B the difference between manually entering in whatever that difference is into Pro Tools. So do me a favor. I'm streaming on my phone, by the way, which is depressingly high quality for a cell phone. Leave a comment. I want to see if I can even see comments. I don't even know. I'm doing this again from my phone. So leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. And I'm going to see if I can even... Oh, there we go. Trev Barnes. Yo, you inspired me way back to start my YouTube journey. Oh, right on, man. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos. They're great. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so the comments just pop up. If I'm looking at my phone, I will try to reply to them because they pop up on my phone here. So let's see. We're going to go to sessions. Jimmy, watching from Kenya. What's up? So what I'm going to do in order to accomplish this is I'm going to make essentially a diagnostics session called Hardware Inserts Test. And we're going to measure this. Quebec, what's up? Also, I'd be sometimes... oh, what's up? Watching from Brentwood. Shout out to Nashville. I'd be interested to see just streaming on what is I'm on studio time right now. If how it goes and if people like it or not. All right, so I'm gonna just articulate what I'm doing here since you can't see my screen. We're gonna see if I can remember how to do this right. We're gonna make a click track, which I believe is Shift Control S C R Enter. Boom, click. Then we're gonna do an audio track and a bus. I think that's the move. Rob Smooth, what's up? So the idea here is when you're using hardware inserts, you're sending your audio out of the DAW to a piece of hardware. Then it's in that hardware and it goes through all the electronics, the circuitry, comes out and then goes back into the interface. And that round trip has an amount of time, which we refer to as latency. And some interfaces, that time is real long, and the software isn't even able to compensate for it. So you have to like manually do this thing. Ever since I switched to the antelope, the latency is just low enough I don't have to do anything. But because I am just so curious, I'm gonna try it, and we're gonna test this. So let's see here. We're going to record a click into a bus. Boom. Bass. L. Let's go here. And then we're going to come out of that into another one. I think that's I think that was the move. All right, drums L. Okay. I can't remember. Oh, it's an audio. Okay. We got it. 2 audio tracks. Click and 2 audio tracks. Okay. This is the way so we can actually see what that difference is. What's going on, chat? What are you working on today? And are you avoiding work? Do not avoid your work. Get back to work. I'm for sure not procrastinating. That's 100%. Click. No insert. Oh, click with insert. I don't even know how to label this. We'll just wing it. Audio 1, audio 2. Okay. Bass L. This is going to be the bus. We're going to send the bass, or I'm sorry, the click through this one. All right. And we're going to hit record. Okay. Record some click. Moving on my plugins today. Oh, gosh. Are you switching between computers? That sounds not great. Okay, and then we're going to come out of this one. And we're going to go in here. This would probably be so much more entertaining if you guys could see my screen. Yeah, chat with me so that I have something to talk to you about other than what I'm doing. PC to Mac, but it's all backed up. Hopefully, hopefully you didn't have like a drive that failed or something. That would blow. Okay, so the first piece of hardware I'm going to test, right? So I've recorded the click to an audio track. Now I have audio printed of a click. That's going to be our standard. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a piece of hardware on that, and then we're going to come out of that track into another track, and we're going to record whatever the difference is. So I'm going to do another, we'll do bass right as our bus. All my buses are just named bass right. Okay, mute. And then let's pick, I want to do my 500 gear first, my EQs, because that's sort of like the easiest. I use like my SSL 500 EQs on the same stuff. Like almost 100% of the time, 2 of the 611 EQs are on the drum bus, and then channel 3 is on the kick bus, and channel 4 is on the snare bus. So I want to see what that round trip is. So we'll do SSL 3 on here, and I'm just going to hit record. It looks like exactly the same. Amazing. All right, we'll do a precise measurement here in a sec. All right, done. I don't know if any of you guys caught this. Also, I'd love to see who here, I can't believe there's 50 people watching this. That's insane. You guys are nuts. Thank you for watching. I would love to know how many of you have seen the other channel, the Studio Tour channel. And I did a video on this a long time ago, the hardware insert thing, and showed the whole process of if you wanted to use it with an Apollo, because you can't use, Pro Tools can't compensate for it on the Apollo. So you have to go through this whole song and dance. I'd be curious if anyone here saw that. Okay, so this is the difference. Let me see if I can show you guys here. How do I reverse this? Okay. Oh, here we go. This is the recorded click on the top. And then underneath it, this is the difference in latency with my insert. So you can see how even that slight of a difference can create an issue in the playback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that. Now I recorded a drum internally. I recorded a drum bounce, right, with some of this hardware on, without the hardware delay compensation entered in, and I'm going to figure out the difference, manually enter that in, and then I want to do the same drum bounce, and I want to compare the two bounces. This is real nerdy stuff here. Okay. We got ASAP in the comments. Hey, I can only see the comments for like a second. Unfortunately, they disappear. All right, so I had to make a note because this process was so esoteric and obnoxious. I literally had to make a note going through all the steps here. So let's see. Hardware insert. Almost a full 180. Exactly. Now that's a click. So that's a pretty higher frequency. So that's real fast. But yeah, absolutely. That can make a difference. Hardware inserts. Oh, amazing. I still have this from 2022. That's the last time I did this. All right. So I'm going to break this down for you. Hardware insert sample delay. Okay, so you have to measure the difference in 1 second here. Okay, so you have to measure the difference in samples, okay? That's the first step. So I'm going to get on the grid where the other one starts, and I'm going to tab to transient. We're going to switch from bars and beats to samples. Shift, tab. There we go. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. Wow, this is actually a very small amount. It looks like it's 93 samples. That is so short. I wonder if I would love to go back to that video and see how long it was on the other interface. 93 samples is very short. Okay. All right, so once you get the samples, then you have to convert it. You can see why I would just be like switch interfaces. I would never do this on a real session. Convert it from samples to milliseconds. Okay, and then the way you do this depends on your buffer size and your sample rate. So you better hope that you're just on the same, everything's the same sample rate and the same buffer size. Okay, so I'm generally at 64 on the buffer size, so I'm gonna do it for that. Almost, yeah, 64, I never change. And thankfully, it's able to rock at that low of a buffer size. Okay, and if some of you are watching and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? I just use ping or whatever, then your life is better. You're not in Pro Tools land. Pro Tools is a special software, archaic and somewhat of an abusive relationship that some of us just choose to stay in, you know? It's a wonderful thing. Okay, so here's the equation. Samples to milliseconds. You divide samples by the sample rate, okay? So in my case, I can tell it was literally, the last time I did this, the samples I had measured was 1,025. So it was literally 10 times longer on my Apollo. Okay, so we're gonna divide 99 by 48,000, which is what I'm at now, right? The sample rate. Divide samples by sample rate. Anyone in the chat who's really good at math, feel free to drop it in there. 99 divided by 48,000. Okay. And then after we have that number, oh, and then multiply by 1,000. Okay, once you divide that, then you multiply it by 1,000. Okay, times 1,000. 2.06. All right. And I believe that gives you the milliseconds. Okay, so 2.06 milliseconds. Let's adjust that. So that was SSL 503. We're gonna go to IO, and Once we have that time, then we go into setup, IO, and then you go to your hardware insert delay menu, which if you've never seen, also, hey, while I'm here, I'm back. While I'm here, I should say I have a neighbor who has an insane collection of like audio gear. It's his dad was a hi-fi collector, so he had like a bunch of hi-fi stuff, but mixed in there is a ton of pro audio stuff. And his dad passed, and now he's trying to auction it, sell it. And I will tell you, there's some good stuff in there. For example, I got this 88 TX tape machine, 8-track half-inch, and I also got, can't really see, I'm plugged in here, this Yuri 1176 out of that stockpile. So if you are would be interested in seeing what's available, I'm going to just give you an email. Send me an email. Let's do Andrew. You just send it to my email. You can get it on my website, or it's andrewmastersmusic@gmail.com. If you're interested in the hi-fi gear, put that in the subject. Hi-fi gear list, and I will send you the list of stuff. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. I'm just trying to help him clear it out and find some new homes for some of this stuff. There's a ton of like DBX stuff, a bunch of cool stuff. So send me an email, andrewmastersmusic@gmail. That's my email. And say hi-fi gear or something like that. And I will send you a list of all this stuff that this guy has to get rid of. Okay, back to the hardware inserts menu. Back to the brass tacks. Okay, now I got to find out what channel. Now we have 64 IO here. So this is, I believe, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Insert 37. So what was our time? Our time was 2.06 milliseconds. Okay, so 37, 2.06. Enter, and you type it in. We'll see if this works. This is fun doing stuff that you would never do, live streaming. Also, this is interesting. When it recorded it in, it reversed the phase. Oh wait, no, it didn't. Never mind. I'm wrong. It's just out enough. Okay. So now that I've compensated for it, I'm going to playlist this so we can reference the original. And now I'm going to record it back in. And see if that did it. Also, I have Pro Tools compensation on. What was your first external preamp? Technically, it was an art channel. I think a lot of people have heard the art channel strips before. They were like a black full channel strip EQ compressor thing. It was a gift from somebody in the family that used to record, and he was like, "You're recording? Here's stuff." It was a mic and that was my first, and I didn't get it. I had an audio interface. I was like, I don't know what to use this for, so I just used my interface instead. That was I was a teenager. So that was technically my first one. But once I was like older and I had moved to LA, worked at the studio, left the studio, and then was like, I need to get stuff. The first one was the Warm Audio 273. I bought my first preamp the other day, Heritage 81. Oh, 73, the comment disappeared so fast. Okay, so I've done it. Here's what it looks like. I'll zoom in. This has got to be the most pro live stream ever. All right. Compensation in. It almost looks like it's earlier. but like so dialed in. So and maybe 2.06 is too much. I might dial it back a hair. We'll go back to the IO, hardware insert, 33. At least I know it was the right one. Let's try like 2.00, just 2 seconds and see what that does. Okay. Some pro camera work here. I'll record that. New playlist, just so we can reference. So this is how I'm going to do it. And if this is pretty fast and simple, I'm going to do this for my inserts, and I'm going to create a little document of what the latency is going through each piece of gear. Because in theory, each piece of gear, different piece of gear, is going to have a different time travel because there's different stuff in it, and sometimes it's longer. Okay, it's still compensating faster. So I would go even lower, which means that whatever I told you that I did, I don't know if it's bunk info, but it's like just a little overcompensating. Let's see, let's go like 9.8. No, let's do it even more drastic, like 1.95. Okay, so that's like 10 tenths of a second or something like that. Okay, in theory, that's all I need to do. Okay, that looks good. That looks super good. All right, great. So I'm just going to copy that time difference. You need to make it longer if you want to delay it more. That seems to not be the case. I don't want to delay it more. No. What you said is reversed. By making it a shorter, it was overcompensating. So I needed to dial back, and we got there. So now I'm gonna just fly that, and I'm gonna put it on all the SSL ones, and then I'm gonna try a different EQ and see if there's a difference. I have the undertone audio UTEQ 500, and it'd be interesting to see how different that one is. Okay, so we're gonna go 37, 38, and then we're gonna go 35, 36, boom, boom, boom. Chicken Little, it does not. Okay. Cool, so now I'm just gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna test the UT undertone. All right, here we go. UTA EQ 500. I think that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, this one looks a little bit longer. I'm not going to show you. You can take my word for it. The UTA, the undertone, is a little bit longer, which means there's probably a little more stuff. I keep trying to keep count, but it's dizzying. Maybe I should pull up a window so I can see what's going on in the chat. I'm not very smart at this thing. You know, I've never been a live stream guy because I'm not very good at it. You know, any pro tips, let me know here. By the way, I want to say thank you to anyone who signed up for the drum recording course. We got an awesome first load of students in, and we're going to get some feedback on the whole thing, and then we'll officially open it to the public soon. Oh, how many plates does that fan have? Nice. Does Pro Tools not have a button that does this for you like Cubase? It does not, dude. I just realized how sick Cubase is from a friend who uses it. And, you know, Avid, come on. We got a polarity button on a channel. Come on, that's like rudimentary day one. Should have been on there right away. Then there's like the line trim. Like that's a banger of a feature, especially when you're using like EQs like I'm using right now, is that you boost the EQ up, you get a big gain jump. There's no line trim. All right, let's see here. So the UTA EQ, let's see what this one is. So Shift Tab. What the heck? Oh, is my tab transient on? Yeah, it is. Why is it jumping way out there? Okay, Enter tab. Okay. We're going to go right here. Oh, that's probably why it was off a little bit. My tab to transient wasn't catching the first transient. So I probably I probably got too close to the transient. Okay, we'll measure that. Okay. Oh, 94. Okay, so this is 2 samples longer. Wow, what a good view you guys have. I'm so sorry. This was a very impulsive idea to do this. Let's hear, what do you guys, on the Pinnacle Vinny ribbon microphones. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. I don't really do reviews, really. I'm not a good reviewer. You know, it's kind of a miracle that any of this YouTube stuff works, because I mostly just talk about stuff that I like, and I don't know a ton of stuff. I only know what I've encountered in the wild. All right, let's see, 94. We're gonna try that. So 94 divided by 48,000. Wait, what? What was the other one? 99? So this is shorter. That makes sense. That's why my other one was messed up. Okay, 94 divided by 48,000. Tell me, I'd love to see a read. It's interesting engaging with people on the YouTube land. What DAWs are you using? Let's just name your DAW that you're using and how long you've been using it. I would love to see, and if you like it. I wonder if there's any DAW curious people out there. I would love to learn Ableton. That's like one I've always wanted to learn. 94 divided by 48,000 equals times 1,000. Okay, 1.95. Drum mic setup right now. Pro Tools Studio One. Okay, sweet. 1.95. Cubase, Logic Pro, Pro Tools 20. Battered wife syndrome. Yeah, dude. For real. Dylan, Reaper since 2019. Ryer before. Reaper, interesting. 1.95. All right, I'm going to enter this in. We'll see if this one works the first try. So we'll do 33, 34. What was it, 1.95? 1. Is that literally the same? Is that what I got? 1.95. That's the exact same compensation. Oh, so I was wrong about that. Okay, entered is invalid. Yes, I know. 1.95. Pro Tools since version 5.1. Whoa, that's not that crazy. I started at 7, I think. 7.4. I think is when I got in on the Pro Tools world. 1.95. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. Compensation for the undertones is the exact same as the SSLs. I'm going to hit record, duplicate playlist, boom. Okay. Perfect. Wow, okay. Good to know. Uniform between 2 very different EQs. We'll try the Wolf Audios and then the Pultec. So I just switch it here. F2. What's going on in the chat here? See if I can get the chat window and Pro Tools open. There we go. All right. Pro Tools does exactly what I need. Yeah, same. Cubase, I've messed with Ableton. I want to try Logic to do projects with friends. I'm so torn because I love Logic, but I can't edit drums the same way I can in Pro Tools, and it's a me problem, not a it problem. But What is your drum mic setup right now, and what pre's are the go-tos? I'm trying to figure out what route I should go. It's a loaded question, because it's so preferential and it's all so circumstantial for the song that you're working on. For example, I love large diaphragm condenser tube mics as my overheads, but I'm doing this rock song right now where it's pretty cymbal heavy on the chorus, and it was sounding good, but I actually wanted to hear those overhead condensers on the room mics. I had never tried those before, the Warm Audio CX12s. So I swapped the overheads, which are the CX12s, for the room mics, which were Cole's ribbon mics. It works really, really well for this rock thing. So it's just like, what's your drum setup? Like, it just depends on the song we're working on, quite frankly. If I was doing a pop thing, it would be more shiny and pretty on the overheads, probably. I've got a lot of Lauten stuff up right now. They just put out a kick mic, which sounds really good, inside the kick. And then large diaphragm condenser on the kick out. You know, you can kind of pick the stuff that you like, but you know, I have generally, I'm either using the Lauten Clarion on the kick out or the Warm Audio 47 FET. What else? Toms, I'm using the Lauten Tom mics. Snare mic. Snare bottom mic, I'm using a Shure SM81. It's one of the first pencil condensers I ever got, a long time ago. What else? Those are the overheads, Coles. Hi-hat and ride is crazy. I'm totally unrelatable. I'm using Soyuz tube pencil 013s. They sound fantastic. Ironically sound like warm, but like not, you know, not bright or dark, just like perfect for hat and ride. And then the room mics are the CX12s. Oh, I also put up, for anyone, I don't know if anyone's actually caught the video I did where I talked about moving my drum room from a bedroom. Great hi-hat and a muting. I know, I agree. Sometimes it's in there low, you know, but yeah, it's low. Hi-hat and ride mics are just so unnecessary, but sometimes, depending on the song, you know, sometimes they need that focus thing. And we're in the service industry, so, you know, you got to give it to them so that they can decide if they want to keep it or not. Yeah, so the drum room thing, I moved the drum room from it was a bedroom that was like treated into like a drum booth, and it sounded really great. But for the course, I wanted to cover how different the drum recording sounds with everything the same except for the room. So we copy pasted this, same drums, same setup, same mics, tried to match the placement exactly the same, and so the only thing that was different was the room. And holy crap, it made such a huge difference, which, you know, and that's like the point of demonstrating. But now that it's out there, man, it's we're just living in a whole different world now with my drums in that big room. It's a living room. It's got big ceilings, tall ceilings. Yeah, dude, all these. I'm sorry. I'm to hardware inserts. I'm just switched to the Wolf Audios. It's all 94 samples, so I can, in theory, copy the same time. Now it'll get really interesting when we switch from 500 EQs to 19-inch compressors and see if the time is the same there. So what's that? 3940. Paste. And the last one to try is the Pultec EQ. By the way, if you didn't know, I feel like most people know. I know, I can't go back. The drum room is so good now. It's insane. I'm not really somebody asked if I pulled the gobos to smallify the room. No, it's not. It's not to shrink the sound of the room, but it is to sort of control a little bit of what's getting in the close mics. I think the ceiling does so much, and then because there's just no treatment out there, it's literally just a big drywall thing, and it probably works really well because it's not a square. It's like a hexagon or something, and then the ceilings do like a angled thing, so it's a bunch of weird angles, and there's like kind of a faux loft up there and a hallway and stuff. So the sound like goes away. So yeah, it's a problem. I'm gonna miss my living room. That was just starting to be such a vibe. Okay, EQ Wolves. Let's try the Pultec now. I'm gonna switch over to the Pultec. 9, boom, Pultec. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. If you didn't know, Pultec makes a 500 series EQ. Maybe even two of them. The one I have is the EQP 500X. It's insane. I believe it's a passive EQ, so they make tube EQs. This one is passive. It gets super duper hot, so solid state, I should say, not passive. What's up, Khalil? The 500X Pultec is so sweet. This is a 500 version of the version of the Pultecs that I came up using at East West, working there. The 19-inch ones that they had were silver-faced, which you don't see that often, but that's all I knew when I started there was the silver-faced ones. So let's see how different this one is, round trip. Okay. 94, exactly 94. Wow, how cool. Well, that certainly is a relief that they're all super consistent, because in theory, if we swap out EQs or move things around, it's just going to be the same compensation. Now I'm really interested to bounce the drums with the inserts in and hear the difference in phase. Because there was never really a problem, and obviously if it sounds out of phase, I just reverse the polarity, but let's try it now. Boom. What? Okay. Oh, that's right. That's not the right IO. Which one was that? Oh, here's a good topic for YouTube. The video I just posted was about hybrid studios, and we got a whopping total of what I've seen so far, 3 comments concerned about my health. I just want to rest it, put everyone's concerns to rest here. I've been tired. We spent 6 weeks filming and editing 10 to 13 or 14 hours a day, give or take a lunch break, 7 days a week. So yes, your boy's been tired, and I'm not aging gracefully, so this phone actually makes me look much better. So for sure you can see that when we're filming, and the nice lens and all that. And then somebody mentioned that I have a belly, so got to work on that. I've been indulging. My new assistant has been stocking the studio with root beer and do some push-ups. Good call. Yeah, I just did a set, 18. Not great, not bad. But the root beers, dude, the root beers and the crap pasta, the cheap pastas you get from the grocery store, just, it gets you so much faster when you're in your 30s. So we're gonna stop that, and we're gonna get jacked so that the YouTube comments can roast me about just normal stuff like being a shill and being stupid or whatever, and stop this fat shaming, which, to be fair, totally works, and I'm sort of in favor for. So let me know and I'll change it. Yeah, sugar. Yeah, exactly. Or that your snare sucks. Exactly. Carnivore diet. I was almost full carnivore for a minute, which is hilarious if you've known me in real life, because I was vegan. I've never publicly said this. I've been vegan for 10 years, and then we basically went the other way and switched to meat. But I think I have to figure out the meat thing, because that's when I started putting on all the weight. You know, so we're just gonna cut processed foods, cut the sugar, we're gonna move my ass, go outside after walks, go to the gym maybe. I have a gym membership. I'm addicted to working. Do you balance any other hobbies with music, running, reading books, etc.? Yeah, so you know, I'm a parent. I have a kid. I'm married, etc. So that's sort of like not this time is doing that kind of stuff, and uh, you know, there's, you know, what are my other hobbies? I'm great at bowling. We love doing bowling. I like drawing. That's like a secret thing I don't do very often. You know, I'm an audiobooks guy. I'm not a sit down and read. I think I'm health or age or whatever is causing me when I try to sit and read, I just fall asleep. I've got a real difficult time. My kid is so good at reading. He reads every night and he'll read for like hours. We have to literally tell him like, put that book down and go to sleep. But I'm an audiobooks guy. Do you ever wish that you were putting out your own music versus behind the desk? No. I mean, I make my own music, and I actually do want to release some of. Now, here's what I'll say. Just started writing. I've always not known how to write and sucked. I've like done instrumental stuff, but as far as like lyrics and singing and stuff, that's really new. My friend Daniel and I have made a conscious effort this year to start getting together, do some co-writes and production and stuff. So we are working on some original stuff. You know what I find that's the most difficult is naming the project, because every band name I try to come up with is like a joke, or I just you can't name it that. But it's so hard to name a band or an artist something. Yeah, Chicken Little said I used to do studio work, but it took all my energy for making music, so I had to stop all studio work. I can't relate. You know, I think when I get done like working, I want to stay and then like do it myself, and it's usually sucks what I'm doing, and I'm, you know, you're your worst own critics. Uh, but but I don't have that. My biggest problem is I never want to leave the studio. I've built a place that I truly love. Luckily, it's, you know, my kid loves being here, so we hang out here a lot. I've got an old basketball court in the back. It's a small basketball court. Basketball, that's a good one. Sports, you know, I like basketball, you know, and my kid's great at baseball. Basically, anything my kid's into is my hobby at the time. Okay. I'm going to come back to the chat. Drop your questions in there. I got to remember which IO is channel 9 here. Okay, so this is 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 8, 3, 9, 40. 49. Okay, 49. There we go. 49, 1.95. Try that. So this is the Pultec. Yep. Exact same. Perfect. I'm so pumped about that. All right, now we're going to try some other piece of gear. Let's try the Antelope 1B, A4 1B. A new playlist. For anyone popping in here, we're measuring the latency of different pieces of outboard gear. So this will be the first non-500 series piece of equipment, A41B. And I'm keeping these on playlist because, you know, I'm a psycho. Okay. 94. Whoa. Okay, so it's 94 samples so far on everything, which is so sweet. You know what? I might just take this little compensation number here, 1.95 milliseconds, and just throw it down everywhere until it's not right. See if I can save some time. We're going to just jump. What's the next one? The SSL Bus Plus. Then the Audioscape decomp. Shout out to Audioscape, by the way. Anybody watching this use any Audioscape gear? Because their stuff is great and really, really competitive prices. They do drops, the whole thing. Okay, let's try this. So it's A41B. Let's do the Bus Plus. The Bus Plus is like got so much crap in it. It's the same. Wow. Okay, cool. All right, now I'm just going to start flipping through gear. I'm going to pick random gear until it's not the same. Decomp. It's the same. LA2. It's the same. Amazing. Okay, so this is... What's the most different thing here? The URI doesn't work. Let's do the the UA 1176 is not connected. Let's connect that real quick. 5. Boom. And whoops. By the way, I just touched my patch bay. That's the literally the only circumstance where I have touched patch bay is if I decide to switch something from a hardware insert to something I'm going to track through, and that is the one compressor that gets inserted into the chain when we do vocals. Okay, let's see. Now we're on the UA 1176. It's the same. Okay. So it looks like it's just a universal amount, everything I've tried. This is great. I'm so excited to try this. And this has been quite delightful and easy. So shout out to Antelope. Copy, paste, copy, paste. I'm going to just throw this on every insert. 1.95. Who's going to NAMM? I would love to know how many people who are not working at audio manufacturers and are not content creators or like guests at NAMM. Who's going to NAMM? Also, who's heard, sorry, this is a great view. Who's heard the band Mammoth? Wolfgang Van Halen's band is so sick. If you guys are into rock stuff. Do you ever wish your last name was Mixes? Andrew Mixes. No. Yep, band names are all taken. I work with electronic music. Do you think having a sub in the room is a must-have? This so depends on your room and your speakers. Here's what I want to say. Someone asked about gas. The gear thing is so like specific. I post about stuff that I think is great, that I like using. But gear is like such a small part of the equation. Like this part is like the thing, right? If you're recording the voice, it's like, is that a good voice? It's the guitar. Does that guitar sound good? Is it in tune? And then it's like the performance. It's like, can this person play? Like, is this a good part? And then there's the recording, like the tracking, good mic placement, and like good mic placement again starts to get like subjective to like, is this good mic placement to achieve this sound for this style of song? So all of that is like, this is what matters the most. And then up here is like the gear. Like, do microphones make a difference? Yeah, yeah, for sure. And do mic pre's and compressors. Can they, depending on what it is and how you're using it, can that like really help the sound? Yes, but none of that matters if this part sucks. Like so. The gear, the sub thing, like it is so dependent on your unique circumstances, and so I wouldn't give you and I wouldn't tell you like yes you need a sub if you do this type of music. I would just say like how much low information are you getting with your setup? How does the low end sound in your room, and maybe do some measuring and listen to reference songs, and then maybe decision. And then I would maybe ask first, are your speakers placed well? Do you have good stands? What's the distance between you? Like the basic physics equation of the sound happening in the room before you add a sub. Because the song I'm working on right now is a song I previously recorded, and I'm gonna be honest, it sounds like doggy doo doo. It sounds so bad, and I'm just like stunned. Like what happened? What objectively was going on at the time? There was three big differences. Number one, I was on a different interface, which I have recently learned how huge of an impact the output converters you use have when you're mixing. Second, were the speakers. I was using a very different type of speaker. I think they were on the desk. That's another big important thing. So I was getting a lot of desk reflections. And then the room I was in had an insane amount of bass trapping in it. Like, I've basically gone the opposite direction. I have like no bass trapping. I'm just in a bedroom. I mean, this is like kind of a clutch bedroom setup, but I have like extremely minimal acoustic treatment. I have these big clouds here are the biggest part of the acoustic treatment in here. And so, yeah, anyway, point being, sub, I don't know. I can't tell you. You got to figure that out. You can try it. Oh, that was the other. I did have a sub. That's why okay. Slow brain. I had a sub at the time, and there was like no low end in this mix. It's totally crazy. The mix was totally choked. It sounded bad. And so we're basically recutting it for a different artist now. And it's insane how different it sounds now. Insane. And like, translating in different rooms and things. So, the sub's fun when you got it and it feels good, but if it's not right, man, it can do way more damage than good. Have you tried Luna Pro with hardware insert compensation? I did not know they finally got around to adding that to Luna. It's been 5 years. I'm glad they finally added that. That's a tough one here. Have you tried Luna? No, I did not. Ragged Wreck, Shill. Check out the course. Have you seen White Sea Studio Ethics video about reviewing gear? I have not. White Sea, I've seen some of his videos. It's a lot of plug-in stuff. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of audio channels. Here's what I'll do. I will shout out the channels that I do watch. I just shared one today. There's this guy, Mario, and he does a bunch of analog focused posts, viewer posts. Come on, let me see if I can find it. I posted it to my other channel. Here we go. Mario DeSanto. I like his videos. He makes cool videos. Who else? Andrew Chapman, creative. His channel's pretty cool. He's a very nice guy. I like what he's doing. Who else do I watch? Obviously, I'm friends with Colt. I like Colt. I don't watch a lot of other audio stuff. I think it's kind of like somebody said with the music thing, like when you do it all day, you just don't want to do it anymore. So I watch a lot of comedy, and I watch just non-audio stuff. Let's see here. We used a buddy's Audioscape 1176 Blue Stripe for a couple songs and vocals. Nice. I have the Rev F of theirs. It's pretty great. What's up, bro? Mac Lens Studio. Dude, you got a new name on your thing. Stream looks good. Yeah, I'm streaming from my phone. No mic, nothing. Just we're raw dogging this one. I'd love to get a Flock Audio patch unit for hardware. Okay. Dylan, what was the motivation to do the API 3124 instead of the warm 412? I have a stereo pair of the 512 and decided whether I should sell the 512 and go 3124, but I may buy. Try both. Try it. Try the 412. So I do have the warm audio 412s. Right now they're sort of like B-room pre's, so they're not racked up here. I actually just racked up a bunch of their 73s. So I have the, can I zoom in on this? That would be so crazy. Look at that. Oh my God. I have the APIs. So I sort of reluctantly got into the API thing. It's a big Nashville thing. But we just racked up the worms. I saw some comments that are like, oh, you got rid of the worms. I didn't get rid of the worms. I have them. So why so many pre's now? Well, because now there's 2 drum rooms. And so because I have the pre's, I'm like, hey, let's keep it so that both rooms can be set up. So that's going to be the goal. Are you going to try out or review the Volt 876? No. New UA Ocean Way plugin. Yep. Ran the Vox through Spencer's Manly Vox reference. Oh, yep. He used the P2 into the Audioscape. Sounded incredible. Yeah, man, I've heard great things about that Manly reference. Tommy Prophet, he uses the Manly reference just into Apollo pre. And that's it. He uses the LA2 plugin when he records through it, and all those vocals that he cut sound so good. So, all right, what are we at? We're almost at an hour here. Shout out to you guys for watching this. I feel like you got to name everything. This is, what did I call this? I called this stream something. Studio Quantization. What day is it? Monday, Studio Quanta. This is likely not going to be a regular thing. But this was fun. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for popping in here. I got the hardware delay compensation set. We'll keep it rocking. Stay tuned for the tape machine. I'm going out of town, but when I get back, we're getting this thing, ordering some fresh tape. And we're going to be just completely unrelatable. It's going to be awesome. Recording analog to tape. But, you know, some songs, the tape is going to do a thing. You know, it's not going to be right for everything. It's going to be very annoying to use. But, you know, doing some rock songs where you're trying to distort some stuff and smash some tape, I think it's going to be awesome. Could be cool content. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you later.